What's going on, guys? Higgs here, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are diving into Assassin's Creed Shadows again, and we're going to be going over this build that I've been using in New Game Plus on Nightmare and Expert difficulty. Now, them two difficulties can be challenging, but I like to experiment with different builds and play styles because I just think it keeps the game feeling fresh. And now this Naoe tool build I've built is just a lot of fun. You're not going to be doing a lot of hacking and slashing in enemies' faces, but what you are going to be doing is climbing on top of buildings, hiding in the grass, taking enemies down, and they're not going to know where you are, and it's going to make taking out hordes of enemies and the tougher enemies a lot easier. But before we crack on, if you find yourself enjoying the video, hit that like button, and if you're into all things Assassin's Creed Shadows and Assassin's Creed, hit the subscribe button as well for more content coming in the future. So first up, we're going to look at the core fundamentals of this build. And the first is the legendary katana. I absolutely love the Bloodshade. Now, this is a top tier katana, and you can get it relatively early on, and it's easy to get as well. So you can get this from the chest from the Atakabune ship in Azumi Setsu, west of Osaka. So if we get this up on the map, as you can see, there's Azumi Setsu. There's Osaka, and it's one of these ships here. I can never remember what one it is, but it's a bloody huge thing. You can't miss it. So get yourself a little boat or just swim out there if you want to get your fitness up, and take the enemies down, or don't take the enemies down, and open up that chest and you will obtain it. The reason why I like the Bloodshade, one, is because you can get it early, and two, it's got some good stats on it. It's got a decent bleed build up of 18%, and you've got a good ability damage with it for 11,177, and the perk that it comes with, affliction build up, is not lost over time. Now, I absolutely love this perk, especially when you're playing in the harder difficulties or you're getting further on in the game, because enemies are harder to take down, and when you're putting in all that hard work to get an affliction built up, it isn't going to get lost all of a sudden. This is just great. It comes with the weapon anyway. But the second engraving I've got is instantly charge posture attacks after using a tool. Now, I've chosen this engraving because posture attacks are really good and you get some solid DPS from them. And where we're going to be using a lot of tools with Naoe, you're going to be getting a lot of posture attacks. So in the rare case that you're not going to be able to use a tool, or you've maybe run out and you're not getting certain tools back because that relies on RNG, you're going to need to stand there and fight. And to be able to have posture attacks ready to go is going to help you in any sticky situation. Next up is the legendary Tanto, Call of the Void. Now, you're going to get this from Godai of the Void, which is the Godai Shinobi. Now, you need to complete the Horseman, which is your main quest in the Shinbaku. Where's the Horseman? This is it right here. Obviously, I'm on my New Game Plus save. I have completed this originally, which is why I've got it. So complete the Horseman. Then you're going to open up another quest step, which is the Godai of Shinobi. This is going to be opened by the people of Omi. So when you do that, you're going to get this opening up here, the people of Omi. Just crack on with this and look for the Godai Shinobi. That's all you're going to need to do, and you're going to be able to get that Tanto. The reason why I love this Tanto is because of its main perk, plus 30% damage on tagged enemies. And what you're going to be doing a lot with Naoe, you're going to be scouting and tagging enemies, especially when you're on the rooftops or laying low in the bushes. You definitely want to be tagging enemies, because when you are using your tools and you maybe want to go out and fight, use that Tanto, you've got an extra 30% buff, and it really does help. Also, you've got some decent vulnerable damage and ability damage that comes with it as well. And my second engraving is going to be the Shadow Piercer throws 3 Tanto, which deals 40% damage. Now, if I go along to my mastery here and we have a look at the Tanto, which is here on the top right. Where's the Shadow Piercer? There we go. Throw the Tanto, then dash forward to stab the target and make them vulnerable, dealing 80% ability damage with each strike. Now, I absolutely love this, but instead of just throwing one, you're going to throw 3, and you're going to get that extra damage as well. I would also level up the Shadow Piercer tree as well with Invigorating Kill, and then go to Shadow Reach, because Invigorating Kill Shadow Piercer generates 50% of an adrenaline chunk on kill and increases Shadow Piercer damage by 40%. and this one increases Shadow Piercer damage by 60%, and it increases the Shadow Piercer throw distance by 10 meters, which is great. It's a great ability to have, and I absolutely love this Tanto. Honestly, it is a great Tanto. I know a lot of people are going to want to be going towards using the Yukimitsu's Revenge because it is one of the best in the game, but they did kind of nerf the perk Afflicted Enemies Are Vulnerable, and you don't always just want to be using Affliction builds, although I do love them. I just think it's good to mix it up in a game like this because, as I say, it helps with the replayability. So Call of the Void is a solid addition to this build. I highly recommend using it. Now, if we go down to our legendary light armor, we have got the Peasant Clothes, and the reason for this is because we get plus 15% with damage with tools, and the perk that it drops with is attacks have 3% chance to remove 1 health segments on hit. Now, I like this pure and simply because it's going to help you take away more health from a bigger enemy, and definitely with the damage with tools, because we're going to be building our build around tools, you're going to be able to take them down with ease. The second perk is plus 2 health segments removed on assassinations. You are guaranteed assassinations with anybody with that perk. Absolutely brilliant. You're not going to struggle at all. You can actually get this from Osaka Castle chest in Azumi Setsu. So that is going to be down on the left hand side. There's the Osaka Castle. I've already got it, so I'm just going to get a bit of gold when I redo it. But head on down there, kill the 3 Samurai Daisho, and loot the chest. And now for the headgear. I did have the legendary Onimusha headband, but everyone uses it. We all do. I've used it in all of my builds because it is probably the best headband in the game, pure and simply because you can vault over enemies while sprinting. But I wanted to mix it up because not everything needs to be built around legendary gear, and I do have a few more builds in the works that are based around epic gear. Now, I've gone for the Yuno Shin's hood. This looks different because I've added a different visualization. I've added the Warm Peasant hat. I just think Naoe looks really cool with that. But the Yuno Shin's hood. Now, you can obtain this from the Path of the Chosen in West Key near the Aseji Trails. So head on right over on the far right of the map, and there you've got the Path of the Chosen. These trails are definitely worth doing because you do get some cool loot from them, especially some really cool epic gear. So head on all the way over there. As you can see, I've not unlocked hardly anything of the map. I've just been going around and just making sure I get some of the gear from that I didn't on my original playthrough. This is actually a really solid hood. Look at the adrenaline gain on that. You get plus 40% and you get a nice bit of crit chance. The perk that it comes with, plus 1 health segment removed on assassinations with kunai. That is going to help a hell of a lot. These little segments all add up when everything gets built into it. And the second perk I've put is plus 24% damage with tools. Again, it all adds up to taking enemies down with 1 kunai, which is what you want to do, because in the higher difficulties you're not always going to be able to run over an enemy and get a kunai back. And then if we go on to the trinket, I am using the Tatsu's Triumph legendary trinket. Now, you can obtain this from the chest in the Agora Pond in Yamashiro. Now, so Yamashiro is going to be all the way up here, and there is the Agora Pond right there. If you go to the fast travel park in Agora Peak, it's going to be around here somewhere. I've already unlocked it, so that's why I can't show you, but just make your way over there and you'll be able to get this legendary trinket. Now, it's got nice crit damage and it's got nice vulnerable damage, plus we've got plus 2% tool damage per mastery point in tools, which we're going to look at in a minute, and we've got plus 10% to stats on the equipped Tanto. So not only are we going to get plus 30% damage on tagged enemies, we are also going to get an extra 10% buff on all of our stats, which really does help. So if we go over to our mastery, I have actually just totally filled out and mastered the tools mastery. Now, if you do master it, as you can see here, we've got a plus 15% chance to refill a tool on use. And as I said, that does help in the higher difficulties because you're not guaranteed to pick them up on the low like you are on the lower difficulties. It all depends on what knowledge rank you are, but first up, you're going to want to go on the Kunai Tools passive. This means that the Kunai deals 400% damage. Headshots on unsuspecting enemies will remove 4 health segments. So you can see where we're going with this. You're going to be in the dark, no one's going to be able to see you, And with all of the extra +1 health segments we've got on our kunai anyway, you're just going to be taking them down in one hit. It's so good, guys. Then we've got Tool Professional, which is definitely one you're going to want to fully level up, unlock the main one, and then do the 3 nodes as well. And altogether increases damage with tools by 27%, which is nothing to scoff at all. Then after that, you're going to want to get Kunai Assassination Damage 1. This removes 1 more additional health segment from a kunai, and then move up again to Assassination Damage 2 and Damage 3. And you will be a kunai god. No one will see you come in, and you'll absolutely take down the bosses. I'm not shitting you. You will take them down with ease. And another you're going to want to be focusing on is the larger tool bag upgrade. So this increases the maximum capacity for all tools. So you get +1 kunai, shuriken, smoke bomb, and a shinobi bell. And the larger tool bag 3, you're going to get another kunai, which means altogether you're going to hold 6 of them, which is pretty decent. And in terms of shurikens, I definitely would lean into getting the shuriken tools passive, because that helps it deal 100% damage, staggers enemies, and can be used on the environment. So if you are ever in a situation where you have run out of kunai, shuriken you get a lot of, you'll never run out of them, but you can at least stagger an enemy to give yourself a bit of space. And then if you go up to bank shot, shuriken can now bounce between targets, which really does help. It increases shuriken damage by 20% as well. And then we've got triple threat. Naoe can throw 3 shurikens at the same time for the cost of 1. Really does help, and it increases shuriken damage by 30%. And then you've got armor piercing. Kunai now have 75% armor piercing. It increases the kunai damage by 10%. And then Everlast, which is fantastic. Not only do we get an increase in damage by 15%, the kunai have a 75% chance to not break on hard impacts. So if they're heavily armored up, doesn't matter, you're going to be able to take them down with ease. Now, in terms of the Shinobi Master Tree, this is going to help you when it comes to sneaking around. Grappling hook, that is the very first thing you want to be getting, because that's going to help you reach places that you might not be able to, and swing between rooftops without being seen. The shallow water breathing is really cool as well. Not only is it great because you've got a little wooden tube that can help you breathe, but enemies won't spot you, and you can wait for them to move whilst in shallow water without being seen, and you can position yourself to get ready to be able to take enemies down. So because we don't have the legendary Onimusha headband, which gives us the automatic vault and vulnerability, I would unlock the Vault Shinobi passive, because that just gives you the option if you need it, because obviously we don't run the Onimusha headband. And I would also get leveling up your Evasive Global passive, because this increases damage after a Vault. I've got it leveled up to 12% at the minute, and the last one gives you 18%. And also Prodigy increases damage with abilities. You're going to be using your abilities a lot, but if you level it up to the max, you're going to increase your abilities by 13%. And then moving on to the Tanto, because we need to talk about the best perk in the game, in my opinion, and that is the Shadow Barrage. This ability is ridiculous. Naoe will automatically perform a quick evade before getting hit, lasting 20 seconds and up to 7 hits. Does not work on grab attacks. And then you're going to move up to Endless Barrage, and this increases all damage by 5%. And then if you go to Contemplation, this is going to increase barrage duration by 10 seconds or up to 3 additional hits. Honestly, it is such a solid perk. And then Shadow Piercer, which I showed you earlier. Gap Seeker increases armor piercing by 80%. I think this is really important when it comes to a Tanto, because with the Tanto, you're not going to get the damage output like you would do with a Katana. This is more quick in and out damage. But if you are facing an enemy with a lot of armor, at least you're going to be piercing their armor a decent chunk. And if you level it all the way up, that's 27%. That's pretty decent. Backstabber increases damage from behind by 2%. And then when we come to the Assassin, at the bottom, you do have Hidden Blade. Press R1 to assassinate regular enemies and remove health segments. Current health segments removal, 5. Then Reinforced Blade. It can now be used on the big boys. And then Hand of the Creed, it can no longer be denied when enemies see Naoe come in. If you don't have that, you are going to get that a hell of a lot in the higher difficulties on New Game Plus as well. So make sure you level up that. Executioner, great perk. Increased damage on vulnerable enemies by 12%. Eagle Vision is absolutely vital for this build as well, because you're going to be using it a lot to be able to assassinate and get enemies down with your kunai. If you level it up to title, Eagle Vision now lasts an extra 15 seconds after deactivation, and that really does help. Assassination damage 1, assassination damage 2, and damage 3. Level all that up and you'll be taking enemies down straight away. And another quick tip, because when you are sort of like doing castles and say you've got 5 Samurai Daishios, you're going to be using a lot of your kunai. After you've taken down a big area like this, always go back to your Kukuraiga. Definitely worth unlocking them all, because you're going to be able to get free refills, and you're going to need them because you're using the tools a lot. That is a nice little tip to be wary of. Always go back to your Kukuraigas or your hideout and just refill after you've done a castle or taken down a large group of enemies, because you're going to be able to stock up, as you can see here. But guys, that is my sneaky deaky Naoe build. Is that what we're going to call it? The sneaky deaky Naoe build. I hope you have enjoyed it. If there's anything I could tweak or you'd like to see in future videos, please let me know, but keep it respectful down in the comments below, please. But as always, if you have enjoyed the video, hit that like button, as it helps it get seen by more people and it helps the video out massively. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button as well for more Assassin's Creed Shadows content in the future. But as always, take care and I'll see you on the next video.